Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3 p.m. here in New Vienna, Iowa. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Wednesday, December. Woo. Today's Wednesday, January 6th, 2021. It is a crazy day. I see a lot of you guys are already mentioning that in the chat here for today's live stream, and it's been weird. I've been trying to avoid a lot of whatever's happening. I've been watching Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory on Sci-Fi Channel, and neither of my kids had seen it before, so we were just watching that. And yeah, that movie's really confusing. I gotta say, I've seen it like 4 or 5 times, but it's very confusing, and that's kind of what we've been focusing on today because everything else is really weird. So I'm doing fine. I'm thousands of miles from all of that. But it's a weird day. It's a very weird day. All right, before we get into today's live stream, let's say hi to everyone listening on the podcast. Hopefully you guys are doing well wherever you guys are, having a good run. And everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, welcome. Glad to have you here. Brett Reed, though, in terms of people that are joining live today, Brett Reed says, is this real life? You know, it was kind of like, I don't know. It's an interesting commentary on kind of like what's going on here, but also a very funny joke based on like this live stream and some of the live stream problems we've had. Brian wants to know if I'm in DC today. I'm not in DC. It's been a couple of years now since I've been in DC. Yeah, have I been? Yeah, I think I've been there during the Trump administration. I was trying to think about if I was or was not. But yeah, I've been there, but it's been a little while. Brett says, good to have the live stream to inject some positivity into our lives. Thanks. So yeah, this is going to, hopefully today this will be a nice break from everything else that's going on. But I do want to kind of say that Christian saying a sad day for us in the US. Yeah. And it says unbelievable scenes on our screen today. World is watching. Yeah, for sure. And Brett said, if only more people ran to relieve some stress, that would certainly help. Spence says, and I love this quote, this chat comment says, Spence says, it's a rough one today, but let me tell you all, I had a croissant crust pizza the other night, and it was a bit uplifting. That sounds really weird, but I guess it would be kind of like a pizza puff pastry, pizza and puff pastry kind of like at the same time. I can go for some of that. That sounds really delicious. Yeah, I'm hungry for pizza now, but I'm always hungry for pizza. Stephen Bolduc says, hi. What's going on, Stephen? Let's see. Philip Bourne says, hi fam. Hope everyone had a good run today. Yeah, I had a pretty good run today. It was a little bit warmer than I was expecting. Although like once I had some headwind, I was like, well, it's still cold. But it was a pretty nice run today. I hope everyone else had a good run too. Leona says, running to feel alive. I love today's video, Mike. Thanks. I've been trying to like that video. It took me 2 days to make it. Well, the first day's footage didn't really work out. And so I got good footage the second day. And I've been working on the script for that it took 2 days to kind of put that one together. And it was going a very different direction at first. And then all of a sudden it was just like, it clicked in terms of like how I should tweak it a little bit. And then then after that, once I like changed the focus a little bit, the rest kind of like wrote itself. So yeah, I enjoyed that one. I just like, I like the snow. I like running in the snow. The rest kind of like just comes out naturally. Jody says, good day, everyone. What's going on, Jody? Hope you're doing well. And Scott Allison says, I think he was running to feel alive because if he stopped, I think hypothermia might have set in. What's funny about that is that like I debated whether or not to make that one line running to feel alive, running to stay alive, but I didn't want to make it like, that was like intentionally somehow like for sport or for just like for thrills, putting myself into like mortal danger, which I guess I kind of am. I don't think it's that dangerous, but, but like there's a sense of, there's a kind of like a joking sense of that for sure too. Cause like, I do have that concern at times where I'm like, I got to make sure I can make this run. Otherwise, like if I have to stop, like I might be in a real big trouble. Because today, for example, even though it wasn't that cold, my Apple Watch died in the middle of the activity. So it was like the thing that I brought with me in case like I, get hurt and I need to call for help wasn't working. So like, I got to, there's a little element to that, but I was like, I'm pretty happy with it. It was an easy decision to make it like running to feel alive. It's liberating. That's kind of what I meant. And it says today's video is great. Really like that style. Yeah, I like it too. I mean, I don't think I can make a video like that every day. I think it would get really like the tone would be hard to kind of like listen to after a while. But like that energy, because I feel like I can't get into that energy every day. But if I could make a video like that every day, I would. It takes less time. Traxxas says painfully beautiful. Yeah, I mean that's kind of like it's a delicate. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of like oxymoron type of words that go with it that kind of fit for winter running, and I think that's really why I love it. T. Davis says, Kofuzi, Adidas has been more descriptive about their new shoes. I was on the site yesterday looking. All right. Well, I mean, I think that we'll have to play another round of like, I was waiting until a couple more shoes kind of come out for 2021. Then we'll bring back Name That Shoe. Although maybe, I mean, there's still so many that we haven't addressed. So I think that we could still play Name That Shoe for a little bit longer too. So, Matt says, what do you think will be the next innovation for racers? We've seen P-backs, gas-infused foam, and plates, and interesting what you think will be next. I was actually thinking about this just a couple minutes ago because, again, I was watching Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and there was the part where Charlie and his grandpa drink the soda that makes them really light. I don't literally think that that's going to be the next innovation, but like, I'm wondering if I think that there already is a lot of research and money going into like performing enhancing substances. I don't want to say drugs, but performing enhancing substances that wouldn't be considered banned. So if it's like, I don't know, kind of analogous to yesterday's trivia, which was like there's one like marathon in Siberia somewhere where like the tradition is everyone takes a shot of vodka before they run across the frozen lake. Like I could see that becoming a thing. I mean, people are already eating like gels like right before they start a race. I could see it being like a thing where like you take your thing and then boom, you're ready to run. I don't know that that's actually going to happen, or if I have no insight into like research about and development. But I don't think like if like current me were to like snap forward like 20 years and like watch a marathon race and everyone was doing that, like cracking open a can of like Perrier or something like that from Spaceballs and just sniffing it in, or like eating something and then running a really fast race, I would be like, that makes sense. I saw that coming. So I think it's going to be figuring out what's the line between a performance enhancing drug that we prohibit because it's dangerous and unsafe for athletes to be taking, and a performance enhancing drug that we permit. I think that's where the next battle is going to be, in my opinion. I mean, the battle's already there. We've been there for a long time, but I think it's going to like really start hitting the forefront. I don't know how that happens or what that looks like, but that's kind of what I think. He says, hi, everyone. If you can get in one race, everything paid and no lottery for you, which would you pick? And you only got 6 months to prepare. I don't know. I might be one of those Antarctic marathons or events that we talked about. The North Pole Marathon, we run around the geographic North Pole. It costs 16,000 euros to get into it. So just for that, if someone was like, I'll pay for whatever race you want to do, maybe that one. But I mean, like absent the lottery, that makes you think of like, what are the really difficult ones to get into? I'd probably pick Tokyo. Especially if I can get like airfare and like staying over there paid for, that'd be really nice. Tokyo for me, I feel like every time I watch the Tokyo Marathon or any race that's held in Japan, it looks like they've run a movie, like they're filming a movie, and I'm like, you guys are like making it like so stereotypically Asian. Like you took like a comic book and you made the scenery and the backdrop look like that. Japan doesn't really look like that. Because like, for a lot of cities that I look at, they all look pretty similar. There are some substantial differences between like European cities and American cities in terms of like street width and how many bicycles and stuff that there are. But like cities are kind of cities in 2021. But like, I feel like cities in Japan still have a very distinct Asianness that just makes it seem so bizarre and foreign. So like I think that's the one that I would love to do. Albert said, I had some cheese ramen yesterday. It was delicious. I helped myself to 3 packs. That's so much sodium. You're gonna be good to go run like a 20 miler then. I mean, I've seen there's a product for like an organic, or like there's like this Instagram ad that I've seen a whole bunch of times of like, we took ramen noodles but made them healthy. And I was like, I mean, if they could make it like a really good food that was more nutritionally like sound, I think there's a lot that you could do with that. Like, I mean, the whole idea of the ramen noodle came out in like post World War II Japan, where it was like the nation was decimated, people were starving to death, and they needed a cheap way to have shelf stable food. So I feel like, why isn't like ramen noodles like a thing that we can make it so that it's not just salt and fat in it, but maybe actually put some vitamins or some other nutrients in there and distribute that as a food source. I mean, I guess like fire and heat is expensive in a lot of places, but to boil water, but I don't know. I mean, I'm very interested in like the healthy ramen idea, because if like, imagine if that was like, it feels like, all right, I got to buckle down. It's time. I'm getting ready for training, my marathon training block. I'm going to go for my PR. I'm going to eat ramen noodles every day. Like, imagine if that's what like nutrition looked like in the future. I'd be like, yes, yes. And then if we could just make like a healthy pizza, not a healthy pizza, like a pizza that's like good for you. Like maybe like put in like, it gives you like, you eat the pizza, you also get like COVID vaccine, like at the same time. Like that'd be great, you know? Or like if it's like a pizza / multivitamin at the same time. I would love to see that. If I were a food scientist, that's the kind of work that I would want, that I'd be really interested in. Basically like Willy Wonka type stuff. All right, let's see what, sorry, I went on a really long tangent there. SB has a question about running. And by the way, anyone that's new here, welcome. We're just hanging out today. So if you've got a running question, there's no like structure or like Q&A time. Feel free to just jump in, or if you want to just hang back and kind of take it all in, well, you're welcome to do that too. But either way, welcome. Glad to have you here. SB says, one question about running. Currently experiencing a lot of pain on my foot on the top lace. I'm using Evo rides, which have a puffy tongue and thin laces. Any advice? I don't know. I mean, if is it both feet, or is it just one foot? Can you loosen the laces up a little bit? That could be it. I don't think that it would necessarily, unless you got them really cranked down tight, I don't think that the thin laces are going to make a huge difference and aren't going to like exacerbate something, because that tongue is really puffy and it sticks out so far. There's so much of it. That's the one I don't. That's what I don't understand about some of those shoes, but it should be able to give you some protection on there. But if it continues to give you a problem, you know, I think that the other thing you can do is maybe switch it out for like an elastic lace. They have those like speed lace things where you just like cinch it down. If they're elastic, maybe it'll stretch out or like distribute some of the tension on the top a little bit more evenly for you. So that might help out. T Davis says, looking for Ultra Boost 21 release dates. Yeah, I don't know. I've still only seen like that one set of photos of it from a while back, and I haven't really seen anything since. So like, I don't know if that means it's changed a lot and that's not what it's going to look like anymore, or if that's exactly what it is and so there's nothing new to report or what. But I don't know. I don't know anything about the UB21. That running guy's here. Good to see you again. Says, great video today. Looked frozen at the end. It was cold. It was cold. It was colder than I thought it was. Yesterday, it was colder than I thought it was going to be. And I just think that like that winter fog air, when it's wetter, it just feels colder, and it just kind of cut through all my clothes. So I just felt like in my lungs like different when I got back. So I was like really tired. So I was certainly pretty cold. Mark Chanko goes here again. Good to see you, buddy. We got Scotty B says, hey all. What's going on, Scotty? Hopefully you're doing well up in Minnesota. Zach Bag says, when I was in the military, I went 3 weeks eating ramen every day for dinner just to see how it might affect me, and there really wasn't any adverse effects. I've conducted a similar experiment, and it wasn't really an experiment. I didn't really have a lot of money after college, and I love ramen noodles. I basically ate ramen noodles or Tony's Pizza. They used to be 4 for $10 at the grocery at Schnucks in St. Louis. And so I basically lived off of that. I would usually add some vegetables to both, either the ramen noodles or the Tony's pizzas. But there was a time in St. Louis where you could get Mancharan ramens. They're not very good. I don't like those. But they used to be, they would normally be 10 for $1. and they would go on sale for 20 for $1 every once in a while. And I was like, a nickel a piece? Insane. So I would stock up. I had some pretty bad dieting habits before. But I've noticed that when my diet is ramen heavy, my mood just plummets. So that's why I gotta like stay away from it. I just think it's not nourishing enough for me for some reason. And it doesn't affect me physically, but like mentally, I don't know if maybe I'm already mentally not in a good state and that's why I'm like reaching for the ramen noodles a lot, or if the ramen noodles make me that way. But I just feel like it's just like weird. Like a lot of insecurity starts to build up all of a sudden, and I'm just feeling down on everything. I'm feeling much more pessimistic. So it's like it's really weird. I don't know I don't think anyone else gets that but me, but I gotta like keep it in moderation. I try not to go 2 days in a row with ramen noodles. Brett Stevens says, try skipping crossing over the laces where the pain is located. That's a good idea. I've seen people do that where like they'll, you normally like do the cross each time, but instead of like crossing over the next time, just go up a rung and then cross again. So like you give it a little bit of space. So I've seen people do that too. But I've never had pain on the top of the foot, and I'm a frequent advocate of like stop putting puffy materials in the tongues, because I'm like, I don't know who needs that, but I guess that there's people that need it for sure. Stephen Gersor says, the more Cole talks about goals and times and PBs and satellite watches, the more I just want to run naked on a sunny beach with no clock or nothing. That's good. I mean, I'd love to do that too. I don't know if I want to run naked, but running in some like swim trunks with nothing. But then, if I, here's the thing, and here's where I'm at on this, is if I instantly like tomorrow could somehow safely get to a warm beach where the water is warm and I can like swim/run at the same time, I would still be like, this is great, but like how did I go? How am I going to log this? That would be a concern of mine. So, I mean, it is interfering with my enjoyment of running for sure. But the cold weather here lately has been forcing me not to, because there's just a certain point, I'll run with like the glove from here up and then the sleeve from here back, and I'll leave like a little gap so I can get to the watch. But there's a point where like my arm will physically start to throb and hurt, and I just got to cover it because it's too cold. And so, the warm weather doesn't entice me enough, but cold weather punishes me enough to cover that up. So, yeah. Martha says, what's on Martha? She said, in Tokyo, some of my favorite places to go are the food floors in department stores and stationery stores. I gotta imagine those are pretty fun places to be. It sounds great. I want to sleep in one of like those like lockers, like those tubes that you can rent for like a couple of hours at a time. Like I want to sleep in that. Not as like not as like this is like my travel plan, but I do want to like experience what that's like. I also want to go to like one of those weird arcades that people like will spend tens of hours at a time in, like in Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, just to be like, what is happening here? I want to check that out, but I probably would spend a lot of time just trying to eat and walking around. Abe says, which carbon plate shoes do you recommend? My favorite right now are the Adios Pro. I love that one. The Endorphin Pro is pretty good. For me, I like the Endorphin Speed a little bit better, even though it's not carbon plated. The Alpha Fly is, of course, amazing. Vaporfly, Next Percent, also a really great shoe. I mean, there's a lot of really good ones out there. And the Hyperion Elite 2 is also a really good shoe. Jana says, I live on pasta and tuna salad, or this thing called mortadella, when I cook in college dormitory. I don't know that I had mortadella. I don't know what that is. But pasta with tuna salad in college? Oh, that's interesting. In college, I did a lot of microwave cooking. Cooking in the microwave, and then the George Foreman grill. Yeah, we had a lot of bratwurst and hamburgers and stuff like that. It was and very cheap cuts of meat. So there was a lot of that. And yeah, we were just cooking it like in a bedroom. It was really weird, but it was the time when George Foreman grills were like all the rage. Knock out the fat. Remember those? Brett Stevens says, went to the University of Maine. My roommate on the first day brought a huge case of ramen noodles. We made fun of him. By a month of college and no money, we were raiding his ramen supply and didn't starve to death. See, someone knows. Someone already knows. Dominic Lopez, what is your favorite all-around running shoe? Nike Pegasus 33 Shield. It's an old one. It doesn't exist anymore, but that shoe was great. It was fantastic. It ran great. It looked great. You could do everything in it. The Pegasus 33 generally, I think, was a good year, but that's probably it's a sentimental favorite as well. Right now, favorite, like today and like what I could buy today, all around favorite running shoe. Nova Blast is pretty high up there. I like the Beacon 3 a lot. Those are two that I'd probably put up there right now. Let's see. James Aylward says, is a collab in the pipeline with Ben Parks? Details, please. We don't have anything in the works, but I did see his video. He says he's planning on a U.S. trip, so like I would love to see him. He's thinking about CIM as well. Like, that's a race that if they run CIM in 2021, I'd really like to run it. I feel like I've said for a long time that I really think that because of how hard it is to get into world majors, I would love it if some of these other races would, or if maybe we could just call them ourselves, like the U.S. majors. Other races where normal people have a decent chance of getting in, but are fantastically run races at good courses where there's good competition and lots of like people that just absolutely love running. Not that other cities don't have that, but like CIM would be one, Grandma's Marathon would be another one. There's a couple that I think that are really good. The Indy Monumental will probably be up there too, just because it's a really flat course, or for the most part, it's really flat. So like, those are the things that I would love to do, but I do want to go to CIM. I think he mentioned trying to do that one. So, that could be a potential place where we could meet up. But I would love to go for a run with him. He'd have to slow down a lot for me. But, I'd love to do kind of like the running interview, kind of like a video with him, and whatever else he wants to do, we can certainly work on it. I'd love to work with him. And Iotazin says, shout out to the Pegasus 35 Turbo. That is also a really good all-around shoe. Again, I'm just baffled by Nike killed off the line. And Jeff Elliott says his new 1080 V10s came in today, and he got his first pair to right at 400 miles. Nice. That's a lot of miles. Good. Connor Atwood said, what's the best affordable all-around trainer running shoe that you recommend under $120? Under $120, I would look at the Reebok Float Ride Energy 2. I think the 3 just came out. Am I wrong on that? That could be one. And then I would look, you could probably find a Boston 9 on sale under $120. Like the retail on the Reebok is, I think, 100 something. Is it 120? So that's right there. I think you could probably find a Boston 9, an SL20, but they're not like all-around trainers, those two shoes, so I'm not so sure on that. You could probably pick up a Nike Pegasus 36. You might still be able to pick up some of those under 120, and I think that would be a great option as well. I don't know about the Beacon 2, like if there's older Beacons that are around, you might be able to find some of those. That would be a pretty good find too, but those usually go, like if they ever get marked down, they sell out real fast. So that might be a tougher one. Leona says, let's all do CIM 2021. I feel like everyone's going to have that idea, though. So I feel like it's going to be actually hard to get into CIM this year. I don't know. Is registration open for CIM 2021? I don't even know. I'll have to look at that. What I like about CIM is there's lots of things to like about CIM, but I think one really convenient thing about it is it's scheduled so that it's in the middle of December. So that means you'll hit your taper right at Thanksgiving, usually, depending on when Thanksgiving falls in the month of November. But you can usually hit your taper right at Thanksgiving. And then when you're done with your marathon, it's like almost Christmas. So like if you're not running a bunch of miles, you're not going to feel bad about it. So like, I think it's really convenient for a lot of it makes it easy on like your life, I think. So that's another thing that's really great about it. Ed Chan says, how does the Beacon compare to the 1080? Which one is better as a daily trainer? I think the Beacon is better as a daily trainer, unless you're a lot bigger than it. Like if someone's like over 6'1", 6'2", then I would think probably go with the 1080 because it's going to have more cushion for you. But someone that's more like my size, I like the Beacon a little bit more as a daily trainer. It's not a super thick midsole though, so it reminds me a lot in the sense of like the Atreyu Voyager. If you run it, it's not, I don't know, the base model is what they call it, the Atreyu base model, or that Reebok float ride that I mentioned. I do kind of all of those because this foam isn't very thick underneath, and so when you're running, it doesn't feel like you're it's absorbing impact, but it works in a really comfortable way while giving you speed. So I just really like that one as a daily trainer. I think I could definitely take that one on longer distances as well, and so it just works for me. But if someone else was like, I love the 1080 as a daily trainer, I'm gonna be like, yeah, makes sense, makes complete sense. Here. Someone here. My best majors, the two, I believe all the other races, all the other majors have like kind of like good for age kind of requirements, not requirements, but like kind of like tiers where like if you're running a certain speed, then it's a guaranteed entry, right? I think, and then everyone else is like charity bib or lottery. So I think some of them, like the London Marathon, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, I think that they give some quite a bit of preference to UK runners, and that narrows the field even more for American or just anywhere else in the world that's not the UK. So I think that's what it is. I just also think that like once people start getting into marathoning, then they're like, all right, I did a couple of local marathons. Now I want to go for one of the big ones. So there's just so many people, which is fantastic. There's so many people that really want to do those races. So I think there's just a lot of people applying, and like they have to cap the race size at a certain point. So like for Boston, for example, I think for a major, I think it's small. It's like 30,000, 35, maybe it's 40. I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of people, but considering how many people want to run it, it's not like a ton. Do you guys have problems? I don't know. Like, but I don't know if these comments is not for my staff. Let me scroll down. Mark got 88. But it just doesn't seem to be working. There we go. Newbie here. What's the International Marathon? So, and like way in the year, in the middle of December, because the weather in outside Sacramento, or is it Sacramento or outside Sacramento? Sacramento area is really nice that time of year for running a marathon. It's a slightly downhill marathon the entire time, of point to point. A lot of people that are shooting for Olympic trial standards tend to go to that one, and so like there's a high amount of like American development and like elite and sub-elite athletes that go. But from what I hear, it's just an extremely well-run race, and so like they just treat the runners really well. Everyone kind of like everyone gets like the pro treatment there. So that's what I hear. So like I really want to try it. James Aylward said, is CIM hilly? I don't think it is. I think it's just a gradual downhill the whole time. I haven't looked at the elevation profile in a while, but I think it's pretty gentle. Like it's nearly flat. Regular videos, I'm not live streaming regular videos. It's down there. It's generally downhill mostly at the second half. There we go. All right. Oh, and the other thing to keep in mind, Martha said the last CIM was December 8th, 2019. They didn't do it in 2020. But Martha did the relay with her niece. That's the other thing we can think about. If we pick a race we're going to try and go to, because there's relay, that'd be kind of fun. Matt LeGrand says the Huntsville Rocket City Marathon is on that same schedule, early December, FTW. Nice. And Leona says registration for the CIM opens spring 2021. So yeah, I think I'm going to definitely sign up for that one. Even if I don't go, we'll see. I think, who knows what's going to happen this year, but I don't, there's not usually another marathon that I've planned. So I should be, who knows if I'll be able to make it like an A race, but we'll be able to go and have fun. So I'm going to try that. Steven Gersdorf wants to know the drop on the beacon. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Is it a 10 millimeter? I don't think it is. Is this? I want to say 6. Maybe someone can look that up. But I don't know offhand. Leona says the audio is breaking up. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what's happening here. Like something is getting real laggy in all this, and so like I think I just need to like refresh the setup a little bit. I think I've had everything just like plugged in too long, so I think I just need to like kind of like take out the cartridge, blow on it, and put it back in, kind of thing. So I apologize, but like every day, like it gets a little bit worse. I don't know how that makes sense. But it seems like what it is. So I'll try and like take everything apart tonight. Scott says, I have not purchased the new beacon because I don't think it will compare to the version 1, which I love. I mean, it's different because it has Fresh Foam X versus Fresh Foam. To be honest, I can't really tell a huge difference. And if it didn't say Fresh Foam X on the shoe a couple of times, I could be convinced either way. So like, it's not that big of a change, it seems, in like the performance of the midsole material. But another big difference is like the Beacon one just looked like a regular shoe. Since then, like the 1080, the Beacon, like they've gotten very weird. Like I don't understand. Like I'm not loving it. But like the design is like very. It's like Real Housewives of New Jersey. It's like zebra print and everything. So like sometimes I'm like, yeah, I dig it. Some other times I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. So that's one thing where I was like, oh, I wouldn't mind picking up like if they could put the black upper from the Beacon version 1 and then make the midsole gray. Like I don't know. I just want black and gray for all my shoes now. But like if they could do that, like that upper was nice. But here's the thing. I don't know if you had that problem with the Beacon 1 where the insoles kept flying out of the shoes. I had that problem like crazy. I had to glue the insoles in so they wouldn't slide out in the middle of a run. So it was a weird time for New Balance that year. Dodie Woody says, hello, Kofuzi. I ran today on a hill and it was freezing cold. My chest was killing me and I really struggled through it before I had to stop 7 times in a 7-mile run. Did you experience it before? Yeah, cold weather can be literally breathtaking. I've had that before, or times where it just like a gust of wind will hit you and it's like it just gets you right in the chest. So like, I've had that feeling and it's fine. You'll get used to it. So stay at it. I mean, you did a 7-mile run today, so that's not like you weren't taking it easy. You were really getting after it. So stay with it and you'll get over it. But the other thing is, at the same time, like keep in mind that like that's no joke. So if that's what it takes to get the run in, be kind to yourself and don't beat yourself up for not like, barreling through it. I've been definitely taking it easier up the hills these days, unless I'm intentionally trying to charge up the hill. Otherwise, I'm like, I'm just going to keep this low heart rate and be easy on the hill and just not worry if that pace drops, a minute slower than normal, or even more than that, just because I'm going to keep going up the hill and just enjoy the run. So that's a couple of different approaches. It's normal. And you can, adapt to it. You'll get there. All right. Yeah, Ryan probably says the internet is lagging hard. I'm trying to think. I don't think anyone else is doing something downstairs today, but maybe my wife's on my wife's on a call. I don't know. And Martha said my audio is breaking up. Oh yeah, yeah. So hopefully all that has resolved by now, because I feel like at least the comment thing is caught up. So hopefully we're working now. All right. Let's see. Ed Chan says, I don't like the veininess, it looks like veins, of the New Balance shoes like the Beacon. It grosses me out, but not too noticeable on the black colorways. Yeah, I mean, it's like a weird zebra print that can look like, it does kind of look like a brain sometimes, So like, yeah, I don't know. Like, they went for it on some of their shoes, but they didn't like extend it to the entire line. I can kind of see why. Maybe they're just testing something out, but they've been testing it out for a couple of years now. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. Yeah, Martha's agreeing. Some people think those New Balance heel design look like brains. Yeah, I think it looks like either it alternates, especially like the 1080 one. That one I think was like the most pronounced of it. It reminds me of like either a brain or like an elephant trunk when it's like curled up, and like it's like elephant trunks are really creepy if you think about them. And like if like an elephant were to like grab something and hand it to me, I feel like it would look like the back of the New Balance 1080 version 10 sometimes. But functionally, like that design works for me. I like it, so I don't know. Yeah, Ben, why does the yoga for the 1080 version 10 looks not safe for work? Yeah, I know what you mean. David Gutierrez says, what do you think is the best shirt to wear under my windbreaker so it doesn't feel so wet, if that makes sense? Yeah, so like if you're getting like damp, like really soaked underneath, like consider going with a short sleeve, just tech tee, kind of like the polyester running shirt. That'll be fine. And I do that on some runs because I generally find like from like my bicep to like my wrist, I usually don't get too cold. So like that's why like running with a vest for me works out really well. I need a bunch of coverage on my hand, like a giant thick mitten, and then on the chest, I know I want to be like really really warm. But like the arm part, I'm usually fine. So that could be an area where you can cut down on heat. The other thing is, for me, I tuck in my shirt when I'm running, and I've got like a couple of layers. If I got like a long sleeve and then like a hooded layer on top, I'll tuck in the long sleeve shirt because sometimes like the long sleeve shirt is longer than the hooded shirt and it just looks weird. So like if I know it's going to be a little bit more, or it's getting warmer, I might untuck part of it, just to let some more air out. So that's kind of the thing I would think about. But the two favorite shirts that I've been running in are like the Path Project's long sleeve, that one, and then a Janji, like the mock turtleneck one, like the mock neck where it comes up a little bit warmer. Those are two that have like polyester plus another stretchy material in there, or like a merino material that I think just tends to work really well when you've got a couple of layers on. So that's the kind of things that I would look for. All right, Leona says, FYI, anyone waitlisted for the Kofuzi Path Project shirt, estimated production arrival is 126.21. So thank you for the update, Leona. I do. That's a shirt that gets used pretty much every workout that I have. That's on underneath it. I've been absolutely loving that shirt. It is warmer than it looks, and it has been performing well for me, especially like underneath like a windbreaker or something. It's been working out well. Yeah, David says, I run early around 4, so it's pretty cold once I sweat through the shirt. Yeah, I mean, if you're sweating through, then yeah, I would think that like windbreaker up top and then a t-shirt underneath, or like a short sleeve running shirt underneath. Adam Koso says, hey, Kofuzi, what supplements do you use, man? I take a vitamin D, like I think it's 1,000 units. I take one of those a day. My vitamin D's just been low for years now, so I just always been on vitamin D. I varied, taken between 3,000 units and 1,000 units a day. I never really seem to notice a difference. It doesn't change my vitamin D levels when I go to the doctor, so I just was like, well, let's do one. That's the only thing I take regularly. I test out, I try a bunch of other stuff, but like right now I'm eating or drinking a lot of these noons that have also some vitamin D, but other things like echinacea and other turmeric and other things that are like more herbal. But I don't usually, I somewhat regularly take protein shakes. I use OWYN, plant-based protein. They're peanut free. And Unived recovery drink. I really like that one. So those are the ones that I will take after a workout, but not every day. Scott said, "Did you see Emily run with socks on her hands? Might need to try that or not." Yeah, I've seen that, and I just want to be like, Emily, I'm going to send you some mittens because that's a shame. And I noticed the Athlete Special. I've been watching a lot of his videos lately. Has been running with socks on his hands, and I'm just like, I know for a fact Brooks makes running mittens. Like, what the heck is going on with that? So, yeah, I mean, there's lots of really great running mittens that are out there, everybody. Socks on the hands just seems, all right. I mean, in a pinch, it works, I guess. But there's lots of really great ways to handle that, I guess. Jeff Elliott says, some tech fabrics seem designed to feel cold to the touch. The John G shirts specifically feel cold, and I have other singles that are fall that don't do the same thing. I know what you mean on some of their like outer layers. They have that it's very it's almost kind of like it's like a water treated material, so it's like slick to me. I definitely get what you're talking about. I've only experienced it with the outer layers. That's like a light blue, a midnight blue, I think, or just midnight, maybe what they call it. Color long sleeve that they have doesn't feel that light. It feels more like merino. I don't think there may or may not be merino in it, but it feels like merino wool and polyester mix. So it's a little, that one is a little bit different. CV76 back from his meeting. Good to see you. MCM says, gotta try fenugreek for the maple syrup pits/P. There was something that I was taking that had fenugreek in it. Fenugreek? Fenugreek? I don't know if I'm saying it right. SB says, currently been wearing the same socks for a few months without washing and some fungus has developed. Should I wash them? I would say probably. Yeah. Yeah, Matt Vo says we need Kofuzi trucker hats. Yeah, I would like to do a better one. I have one on the Teespring. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, but it's not my favorite. And I'd like to make them a little bit. They're non-elite, so I guess a Kofuzi trucker. Okay, maybe we'll do a run of those. Maybe we could do that. Maybe I could figure that out somehow. All right. Kevin Nitson says, our run club, the Minnesota Distance Running Association, put us a link to your painfully beautiful running motivation video today. Well done. Oh, that's awesome. I'm flattered when people that are in colder places are like, this is a good video. So that's nice. Awesome. Minnesota Distance Running Association. That's a cool sounding name. I like that. I'll have to check you guys out. Very cool. Thank you. All right. And Chris Smith said the fee is good now. No lag. Good. Okay. All right. Matt Vo says, the socks on the hands goes back to the late 60s. Great Boston track club guys always did that in races. Just discard them. Yeah, I mean, I have gloves that I have. Usually you can get them at the expo. Gloves that are meant for that too. But I suppose you can use socks. But I mean, I guess if you're buying tube socks just for the purpose, I mean, because are you're gonna throw away your stance socks, or your Darn Tough or whatever, or Balegas? I'm not gonna do that. They're expensive. Some of them are more expensive than my socks are more expensive than some of my running gloves, especially the ones that are thinner. So I'm not going to do that. The socks are cheaper. Yeah. So I mean, I guess you could do that though. But I guess if you're buying a 6-pack of tube socks of Hanes at Walmart, maybe that's cheaper. It's probably cheaper. Syed Zamaril says, what advice would you give for new runners to focus on? I would say focus on number of days per week and number of time outside. Don't focus on pace. Don't focus on mileage or distance. You want to focus on building your habits, building your routine. Everything else will follow. You can build on that, but the hardest thing is just to get used to the new change that your body needs to get used to the new change of regular running or even run walking. I mean, I usually recommend a lot of people run walk when they start out. Will W says, planning on running any races this year? I certainly hope so, but I have nothing planned because I don't know what's going to happen. So I have a feeling, what I hope is that I'm just going to be like, all right, what's happening in 3 weeks? Let's sign up for a race. That's in Toledo, Ohio? All right. What are plane tickets like? So I'm hoping for like more of that kind of schedule for this year, and using a lot of races as my workouts, but also mainly as a way to go hang out with people, meet people from all over, and run with people once it's safe to do that again. So that's kind of like my plan. Other than that, I don't know. I'm not signed up for anything. Like I didn't defer any races. If there was an option to get a refund, I got a refund. So like I'm not signed up for Chicago Marathon. I don't think anyone, or people. Some people are signed up for Boston Marathon, but I'm not. Yeah, so I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen. CK Stoner says, about number of days, what do you think about streaks? I love streaks, but like I think the best, if you're a run streaker, I think the best thing to happen to you will be when you're not a run streaker anymore. I mean, you just stop counting. So like I used to count that a lot, but now I just kind of like I try to run every day. Every once in a while, I won't run in a day. It used to happen more often when I was working. So then, because like just life would get in the way and I couldn't do it. But right now, I'm running every day. I don't think I've missed a day, and I think there was one day relatively recently that I didn't run. But I usually just run every day. So I feel like if you're thinking about run streaking, great. Thinking of, like, I think you should focus on then, like, what's post that, and that's 7 days a week running, or maybe like 13 out of 14 days kind of thing. But I think it's a great way, like, to help for, especially for new runners too. Like a lot of people are like, run 2 or 3 times a week, and I'm like, maybe we should make that more, because you want to build habit, right? And so like having streaks, I think, is good because it makes you think, all right, I need to run like 3 days in a row now, so I can't kill myself today. So yeah. And Martha's clarifying that no one has signed up for Boston. But, okay. They aren't opening registration until they figure out a date. Yeah. And, I think someone was saying, I think it was Hanson's Run was tweeting that, like, when that opens up, the times are going to be insane in terms of trying to get in there. So, yeah. So I don't know. I might still never have, I've never run in a Boston Marathon. I might not get to run in the next one. So I don't know. Jonna says that run streaks help with discipline. That's true. I don't think there's anything bad with it, or counting it. And I counted mine for a really long time. But yeah, I don't understand. What I don't understand is the people that have like a really strong reaction against it. I mean, I guess I understand it, but like, yeah. I mean, I guess there's different people with different kinds of training plans, and like the rest days are built in, but. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I like it, but I'm a 7-day-a-week runner. So, yeah. John James says, late to the chat, not quite sure what we're talking about. We're just hanging out. Run streaks a little bit right now, yeah. Jeff Elliott says he's going to try to sign up for a local marathon in November once I'm vaccinated and confident it will be done in person. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep running and trying to get faster. Yeah, I keep hearing, where am I hearing it? There's like, I'm hearing ads on some podcasts for a Richmond marathon. I feel like it's like a trail or like a bike path where they let you kind of like, you just sign up for a time to go, and it's not really supported. It kind of is, but there's chip timing. But like they did it this last year, and you could do the half or the full, and there was like a chip timer, but like I think you signed up for a slot to go or something like that, where it was like really flexible, but you could do it at a time where there weren't a lot of people, but also where it worked for your schedule, or you could try to cherry pick some good weather. So I was interested in that concept, but I'm like, if we're still at a position where like that's how the race has to be operated, I'm probably not going to travel all the way to Virginia for that. So I don't know. John James says, any advice for someone who wants to start a running YouTube channel? You've inspired me. Well, that's great. Fantastic. Awesome. I would say kind of like 2 things is like make your videos about what you know. and what's very specific to you. So like niche down, make it ultra specific to what like you can really talk a lot about. I'm not saying you have to be like a running expert, like former Olympian kind of thing, because I'm certainly not. But like, what's your experience like? What is it like for you? And share that. And the other thing is, become involved in the community as well. Make friends. Find a lot of other people that are in your similar situation, and you guys will like grow together as kind of like your like class. So like I know a lot of people that were all like about the same size as me when I started really focusing on running YouTube, and we're all kind of like have been growing together. And so that's something that's useful to establish as well. All right, let's do a couple more and then I got to get going. David Lidstone says, I have a 1K time trial next week, aiming for low 250s. That's fast. Good luck, David. Man, that's quick. Scott says the New Jersey Marathon at the beach is October 15th through 17th. That's interesting. I like that. That's one of the ones that's like usually listed as like one of the fast, like a nice fast flat marathon, like a lot of PQ times coming out of that one, isn't it? I'm trying to think of there's one race in New Jersey that's listed. I'm like, oh, I can go. Maybe I can get my parents to run one or come by and see it. So that's one that I was thinking. I didn't know I thought it was normally earlier in the year, but maybe it's in October this year because of everything. Will Willing says, what do you suggest for people that have irregular hours and odd sleeping habits if you're trying to train for an event? I would say pay yourself first. So like if you want to prioritize, your running and your training, make sure that you get your running in. And for me, what that means is I run early in the morning. I try to be done before everyone else in the house kind of like wakes up. It's impossible to do that here because my older daughter insists on waking up early, even on the weekends. And like my in-laws, they wake up, they're usually up when I'm up. So it's like crazy. But when it comes to like, my family, I try to do that and shift the time so that I'm not interfering with other time. If I wait for my run till like the end of the day where I might prefer to run, then like, I'm tired, all things happen, scheduling things are happening. So it's like, that ends up not happening. So just find a way to like make sure you pay yourself first. If that means regardless of like what your sleeping schedule is, like maybe you run like right before you go to bed if you've got weird hours, or right after you wake up, even if you're waking up like in the evening, just wake up and run and do it. But like, make sure it's like, a priority for you. Like peg it to something. I always like to peg it to something else, like the sleeping or like right after work or something like that. CK Stoner says, I recently ran a half in Orlando. So much fun. Kind of weird since we're all masked and distanced in the corrals. Fun though. Yeah, I've been seeing some races going on and it's kind of like, oh, I want to do that. But then also like, I don't know if I want to do that. It's kind of like, yeah, it's an interesting experience, I think. Matt Fo says, do you advise against eating an entire 3-pound bag of peanut M&Ms before a half marathon race? I did. And he had a problem with it while running a 1:16. I don't know. If you ran a 1:16, I think that if I knew that eating a 3-pound bag of M&Ms would make me poop myself during the race, but I'd get a 1:16, I might do that. Like, that's a fair trade. That's a fair trade. I'll take that. I'll take that bet. I don't know what your halftime is normally, Matt, but I'd take it because that'd be like a 12-minute PR for me. And Jennifer for the New Jersey Marathon says it's usually April, May. That's what I thought. So okay, if it's in October, that puts it at an interesting time of the year. But then I also just am like, what else is going to be happening in October, November this year running wise? I mean, it just might be like a run a marathon every 2 weeks kind of year, or maybe like if there's events that have marathon and half marathon, maybe I'll run a lot of half marathons. All right. Stevie76 says quick a pizza question because I gotta get one, but I think that's a great place to leave it for today. I do not see that pizza emoji every time I see it. It just makes me hungry. I want pizza now, and now I'm hungry. All right. Tomorrow's video is going to be about, I'm finally going to make the video, give you some detailed thoughts about the Torn 4.5 plush. So that'll be an interesting video. I'm still not sure like how I'm going to make it, but that'll be the video for tomorrow. And then tomorrow afternoon, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday. Tomorrow's Thursday. So we'll do happy hour. Same time, 3 p.m. Central Time. You can bring your favorite recovery drink or alcoholic drink. I'll have a beer for tomorrow, and hope you guys will join me. In the meantime, be safe out there on your runs, everybody.